In our last video, we spoke about the importance of parents working together when their child is diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. What happens, at least in my experience, in many cases where parents separate or divorce, is that even though they may know deep down it would be helpful to the child if they were on the same page relative to the approach to take concerning the child's autism, for whatever reason, they cannot or will not communicate effectively with each other on those issues and sometimes many other issues because of whatever happened in the marriage that caused it to fall apart. There's a lot of hurt, upset, anger, and sometimes it gets in the way of what really needs to be done in terms of providing for a child with autism spectrum disorder, even after separation or divorce. So, in my experience, I've seen parents who angrily refuse to cooperate with each other on any issue. They engage in power struggles with each other. They make decisions based upon emotion rather than logic and reason in terms of trying to settle their case. They spend a lot of time, money, and resources that could be spent on their child, instead fighting with each other in court, a tug of war in litigation. And this sometimes tends to destabilize and stress their own child and themselves in the process and makes the case go on much longer than perhaps it needs to reasonably. So dysfunctional parental warfare can damage the intensity, consistency, and stability of a child with autism's path towards meaningful progress. And the possible consequences of that could include a harmful delay in diagnosis, a harmful delay in starting therapy, or a breach in the momentum of the therapy in terms of intensity and consistency that's could be very important, a lack of consistent approach to the therapy, stress and confusion and mixed messages to the child, possible regression by the child in terms of progress, possible impairment for mainstreaming, and a chance for independence for the child, potential legal problems with the school district due to conflicting parental positions. If the parents are not on the same page and are sending mixed messages or completely different messages to the school, it could create legal issues with the school in terms of what the school district will or will not provide to the child because they're getting mixed messages in terms of what the parents are requesting. Even if the parents are united in their approach, everything they request is not necessarily granted by a school district. Sometimes parents end up going to court against the school district to determine what is an appropriate educational plan for a child with autism. But when the parents themselves are fighting with each other, it can create even more havoc. It's also helpful if parents can effectively communicate with each other on a child's progress and development. And again, if there's, for example, a restraining order between the parties, the parties may not be able to communicate with each other in the same fashion. But assuming for the sake of argument, for purposes of this discussion, that there is no restraining order between the parties, it can be helpful if the parents are able to speak with each other or otherwise communicate with each other to basically help create a consistency and approach on issues relative to the child's autism. It's also helpful, as I've indicated before, for parents to create and present a unified, well-informed, effective position in dealing with the school district. Maybe the school district will agree with the parents, but even if they don't agree with the parents, if the parents are united in their approach, and if it requires litigation with the school district, at least the parents are not fighting with each other over those issues and fighting battles on many fronts as opposed to just one. And some parents may be and are very willing in many instances to create a working truce with the other parent if the other parent is willing to do so as well, notwithstanding a separation or divorce. The fact that there is a separation or divorce does not automatically mean the parents have to be enemies or have to be at constant odds with each other.